So, Rich, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, back again.
Yeah, back again, third strike, and then we're out.
Exactly.
So, the Aerofoil jacket we were chatting about, and one of the interesting things that you told me, which maybe a lot of our audience won't be aware of, is that, there's kind of a difference in between this and your average windproof. So, despite the fact they look very similar. So, do you want to tell us a bit more about how they differ and why they differ and what maybe, for instance, sets the Aerofoil apart?
Yeah, so lightweight windproofs of this type have been around for clearly a very long time. You see a lot of discussion about them in general on the UKC forums and elsewhere, because people rightly identify that these are kind of one of the single most useful things that you can own as a rock climber, frankly, a hill walker, mountaineer, just because they give you so much extra comfort for such a tiny amount of weight and bulk, really. The big difference with this is with the Aerofoil's fabric, this is our Exolite 45 fabric, is that really this is a super, super light soft shell fabric rather than a traditional windproof fabric. And the real benefit that brings you is that this has got a little bit of stretch built into it, but it's also quite a lot more durable than a traditional kind of windproof shell. Which is not to say it's bulletproof. If you rub this hard enough, against really sharp rock, granite, that kind of stuff, you are ultimately going to damage it, but it's going to deal with that much better than a kind of standard windproof shell, I guess.
It's been actually quite nice seeing all these various threads form lately, just giving homage and credit to this style of product, because I've known it for years, but I don't feel like necessarily you'll know from a sales perspective, but the consumer demand has maybe preferred other elements like sort of either soft shells or fleeces with a windproof backer or something like that. Whereas, as you say, for what was it, 100 and barely over 100 grams, if you put that on the back of your harness, you get more than that weight in warmth by putting on that one layer.
No, that's it. This is 120 grams in a size large, and I've got one packed up in a different colour here. So it's really tiny, and you can even make that smaller if you want. They come with twin carabiner carry loops on there, so you can clip it to your harness. And yeah, for a day where you've maybe got, I don't know, either it's a t-shirt underneath, or you've got a really lightweight micro fleece, something like that, put this over the top, and suddenly, if you're on a sea cliff belay or a mountain crag, or frankly just out hill walking, it's going to make a big difference to how comfortable you are.
And the cut on these as well, there's a little bit of stretch, but you have got a good, sort of all-around freedom of movement, haven't you, within the Aerofoil?
Yeah, and you can see on me, it's a pretty trim fit. I've got like a really thin fleece on under here, so there's enough room there that you can layer it, but it's not so baggy it's going to be flapping around when it gets windy. That's one of the other things we've tended to see in jackets and smocks of this type, is they're often too baggy. And as soon as it gets windy, you're flapping around like a sail. And it's pretty hard to concentrate on what you're climbing at that point.
And in terms of the hood as well, are these over helmet or under helmet in terms of their cut?
It is under helmet. I think some people will find they can just about get it over a helmet at a belay. We do see that quite often, but it's not the kind of full size hood that we put on things that are kind of things like our squall jacket, I guess, is the best example, which is a slightly heavier weight, but still light, stretchy, specialist rock climbing shell.
I was thinking with things this lightweight, if they do go over the helmet, because of that, how light the fabric is, there is that sail element to them, isn't there? So it's almost best keeping it closer in under helmet, because then that way there's a little bit less flapping.
There is a little bit of that, and also this ensures that this hood keeps working really well when you haven't got a helmet on, which gives it probably a better spread of use, really. That was our thinking behind that.
Well, I know that I'm down to review one of these, so I'm really looking forward to this, not least because it reminds me of climbing places like Pembroke or Gogarth in that sort of Easter time period where we're probably not going to be climbing at Pembroke or Gogarth. But, those days where it's just like that little bit of an edge, and just a simple layer like this, as I say, 120 grams, turns your life from being really cold to just absolutely perfect. And it's one of those bits of kit I think every climber should own.
No, absolutely. Even in the middle of summer, this is the sort of thing I always, middle of summer, good forecast, I'll still squeeze this in the bottom of my pack because it's just, it doesn't take any room, as you say. It's going to make a really big difference if it does get colder and windier. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for taking us through the aerofoil, Rich, and hopefully catch up soon.
Thanks, Rob.